The Florida basketball team is having an unbelievable year, going all the way to the Final Four and needing just 2 more wins to clinch a national title. But what about the Florida football team? This team, despite going just 8-5 in 2024, is generating a lot of hype and a lot of excitement for the 2025 season. And again, 8-5 for many programs across the country isn't that good. Certainly isn't that good by Florida standards, but I think the excitement for that is justified considering what they went through in 2024. The most difficult schedule in the country, facing 11 Power 4 opponents, their coach entering the year on the hot seat and having it scorching hot in early September after blowout losses to Miami and Texas A&M, but then rallying, going 6-3 down the stretch, so only losses coming barely to Tennessee, then to Georgia, then to Texas, but also beating LSU and Ole Miss before beating Tulane 33-8 in their bowl game. The Gators finished the year strong. They defied the odds in a year where many, including myself, thought they would not make a bowl game. And now they have high expectations entering 2025. It's just a matter of whether or not they can deliver and live up to them. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. Ready to break down a little bit of Florida football. Focus on the basketball team right now, but let's shed some light on their football team as we get closer and closer to the start of spring ball and closer to the start of the college football season. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, home to our newsletters, home to tons of exclusive content to help you get through this offseason because, again, here at our channel, college football never dies. The season never ends here at the Gridiron Expert, and we want you to become a member of our GE Nation and soak in this college football content with us year round. So, again, you go back and look at 2024, you look at that schedule, you look at Florida's roster, no one thought that they would probably get to 8 wins. Maybe some Florida homers thought they would, but realistically, it was so tough, so brutal, and I think a lot of us, including myself, thought Billy Napier would be out of a job by the time the season ended. Instead, he had his best season in Gainesville yet, again, an 8-5 record, his first winning season with the Gators. He's still recruiting extremely well, and now as they enter 2025, yes, the schedule's still tough, but the roster looks significantly better, and they actually have some momentum to carry into the season. You take a look at that roster, DJ Lagway, that's the guy that's generating a lot of hype. Everybody kind of wanted to see him last year, and they did. He went 6-1 as a starter, threw for nearly 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. But he was a young quarterback. Naturally, he was going to make some mistakes. Naturally, he was going to make some boneheaded decisions. I think that gets corrected mightily throughout this offseason and will look significantly better as 2025 progresses. This is the guy that's going to cut down on the interceptions. He's going to throw for a lot more yards. He's going to be the full-time starter. He's going to make better decisions. He's going to be a guy that has more weapons as well. So this is a Florida offense that we really didn't know what to expect. Really wasn't that great throughout most of last year. Certainly wasn't at the beginning of the year. Started to peak a little bit with Lagway, and now with a full season or offseason as a starter, I feel like it's going to be 10 times better. This guy has a lot of potential, a lot of upside for this Gators offense. He's got a very solid running back core led by Jaden Baugh, who had over 670 yards last year. They added J. Michael Sturdivant from UCLA, who had 315 yards last year, which wasn't great with the Bruins, but in his career has over 1,600 reception yards and 13 touchdowns. Eugene Wilson also returning at wide receiver for the Gators. And they have 4 starters back on the offensive line, which is massive because, again, Florida was clearly not a bad team last year. And that offensive line, I don't think people talk nearly enough about. They only allowed 20 sacks. That's it. That Florida offensive line gave up just 20 sacks all year long. And now the majority of that line returns intact. This could be one of the better offensive lines in the SEC, maybe even in the country, and it's going to be huge when protecting their young quarterback who's looking to take a big step forward in year 2. But again, not even a full year 2 because he wasn't even the full-time starter in 2024. So the offense, I think, is going to look a lot better than we saw last year. And again, towards the end of last year, it really wasn't all that bad. The defense may be underrated for the Gators in Gainesville. George Gums, Tyreek Sapp, and Caleb Banks all return on the defensive line. Those 3 players combining for 16.5 sacks in 2024. That's absolutely massive. We've always talked about how important it is to be able to win at the line of scrimmage. Clearly, the Gators have a good offensive line. Clearly, they got some dogs on the defensive line. That's going to be massive for them as they face a difficult schedule we're going to talk about here in a second. The linebacking core, if you're looking for a weakness maybe on the defense, it's probably going to be that. The linebacking core is the area that probably is the weakest and needs the most work, considering it's also fairly young. But the secondary looks very good as well. 4 starters back in the secondary after posting 14 interceptions in 2024. So you look at it, guys. You've got depth. You've got experience. You've got a lot of returning talent coming back. About 15 starters expected to return for Florida in 2025. Adding a couple guys to the transfer portal as well. And the guys that Billy Napier's done a phenomenal job recruiting. And the Gators seem to be in a prime position to have another successful season. Now, here's the thing. What is a successful season in your eyes? Obviously, if you're a Florida fan, you want to see an SEC title appearance. You want to see a playoff berth or a very, very good bowl game, right? And I still think the Gators aren't there yet. Again, we're going to share our official prediction for Florida and every other team later on this summer, only a few months away from doing that. But the Gators, once again, face one of the most difficult schedules in the entire country, such as life in the SEC. They should start 2-0. They don't open the year up against a team like Miami like they did last year. They should open 2-0, a chance to ease into it, get Lagway his feet wet as a full-time starter now. Anybody new to the team kind of getting their feet wet as well. 2-0 should happen for Florida. But then after that, listen to these games all in consecutive order. At LSU, at Miami, Texas at home, at Texas A&M, and then home against Mississippi State. So you've got 3 extremely difficult road games in that 5-game stretch, and then one of your 2 home games is against Texas, who made the college football playoff semifinal last year. Was a couple plays away from maybe beating Ohio State and playing for a national title. So a brutal stretch for the Gators. More than likely in that 5-game stretch going to be an underdog in 4 of the 5. I would expect them to be favored against Mississippi State at home, but that's probably it. Yes, they beat LSU last year, but now they've got to go to Baton Rouge. They've got to go to Death Valley. Yes, they got destroyed by Miami last year. Miami lost a lot of talent, but still, I think the Hurricanes are going to be one of the better teams in the ACC. And yes, they hung with A&M to an extent, lost by 13 in the Swamp. College Station, as we know, a very difficult place to play. So if I'm Florida, I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, all right, 2-0 start, that should happen. In those next 5 games, they got to win at least 2 of them. And you think they would beat Mississippi State rather handily. So that really means you've got to find a way to win at least 1 of LSU, Miami, Texas, and Texas A&M. If you do that, if you just win 2 of those 5, the Gators, more than likely, would be 4-3 entering the month of November. Anything more than that, and you're looking really good, could be 5-2. 6-1, not going to happen. I think we'd be shocked. We will all be shocked if they were 6-1 or better. But 4-3 needs to be the goal. 5-2 would be phenomenal. They enter the month of November, and they have more tough games, playing Georgia, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, and then they end the year at home against Tennessee and Florida State. Many would expect them to maybe beat Florida State right now. I think they could hang with Tennessee. I think they could beat Kentucky. So some more winnable games down the stretch in November, maybe more so than that 5-game stretch in the middle of the year. But regardless, the schedule's tough. Again, that's life in the SEC. It is very, very tough. Just like the SEC was crazy good in basketball, it's crazy good in football as well. Anything can happen on any given Saturday. So what's the expectation for Florida this year? I think maybe getting 8 regular season wins would be massive. Last year they got 7 regular season wins, 8 wins with the bowl. 8 regular season wins this year, maybe 9 with the bowl would be phenomenal. Last year, we didn't think they could go to the postseason. This year, I absolutely do. I think they will go bowling in 2025. It's just a matter of what bowl, what record, and will it be enough to satisfy the Florida fan base? This is not a team built to make the college football playoff yet, but I do think Napier is getting them there. This last year was a huge stepping stone. Finally breaking through, making the postseason. I mean, for the second time, but last time they had a losing record. Getting a winning record, getting a bowl win. Now they've got competent quarterback play. They've got the roster to maybe compete more in the SEC. Things are trending in the right direction in Gainesville. Not to the point to be considered a true SEC or national contender, but enough to clinch another winning season and continuing to build momentum to that point in the future. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to the expert picks, home to our newsletters, home to tons of exclusive content to help you get through this offseason. We want you to become a member of our GE Nation to take in this football content year-round with us. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.